I love it when I hear The Rock say this, that I know I'm the hardest worker in the room. I'm the hardest worker in the room. I just have one question for you. How do you know?
Habibi, before you enjoy this video, do your boy a solid. I've got a goal to hit 7,500 subscribers by the end of June. So like the video and subscribe the channel. Jazakallah.
And I'm going to attack this subject from an angle of empathy as opposed to an angle of, pull your trousers up, pull your socks up and man up and all the rest of it. Because there are some genuine issues that we need to address and discuss. And actually, it makes me really, it breaks my heart. Wallahi, it breaks my heart when I see this hopelessness. And you know what? Life's hard. Life is hard, man. Bismillah. And on top of that, life is quite unforgiving as well. It's an unforgiving world. And I'm actually going to address a couple of the noir pill, shall we call it, in case YouTube have a problem with it. A couple of the dark pill realities that they speak of. And actually, I'm going to provide a more balanced view on this discussion. Okay. I was watching a Jordan Peterson podcast not too long ago, and it was with an economist whose name I forget, but it's one of the most recent uploads Jordan Peterson has put up. And it's with a black gentleman whose name eludes me at this moment, but it's something along the lines of the harsh realities of economic inequality, something along those lines. And they talk about the Pareto principle, 80-20. And Dr. Jordan, he made a profound point that hit me so hard. It's a simple point and frankly quite obvious, but it hit me so hard because I realized that I have been drinking a bit too much of the personal development Kool-Aid. And I say that carefully because personal development for the most part is very, very good, very effective. But there's a lot of grifters who are trying to sell you on a dream. Anyone can become anything if you put your mind to it. You can become whatever you want to. You can do whatever you want if you just put your mind to it. If you just work hard enough. I'm sorry. I've got news for you. This is number one bullshit. This is number one bullshit. This is not true. You cannot do or become whatever you want to. You cannot succeed in any field that your heart desires if you simply work hard enough. This is nonsense. This is a fallacy. This is a lie. And a lie that the charlatans in the personal development world would love for you to believe so that you can buy their course or sign up to their mentorship or whatever the case may be. It's a lie. It's not true. Let me make it categorically clear. You cannot become anything you want to. You cannot succeed at anything you want to. Now, the individuals who are successful in their respective fields, they don't like this. And I'll tell you why. I'm going to break down the psychology for you. Whenever somebody becomes successful at something, because they have had to work hard to a degree, some harder than others, but generally speaking, if you want to excel in any given field, whether it's sports, whether it's business, whether it's education, whatever the case may be, you're going to have to expend effort and energy and time and sacrifice and on and on and on. Therefore, once you do become successful in said field, it nurtures and feeds into your ego the idea that the reason why you became successful is because of sheer hard work, because you outworked everyone else. I love it when I hear The Rock say this, that I know I'm the hardest worker in the room. I'm the hardest worker in the room. I just have one question for you. How do you know? Did you see the other guys? Did you see them waking up first thing in the morning, putting their shift in, working till the candle went out at night? I forget the saying. How do you know? How do you know you're the hardest worker in the room? Michael Phelps. Some of you may be a bit too young to know who Michael Phelps is. It's making me feel old now. when he became the first man to win 8 Olympic gold medals at a single Olympic Games. I stayed up late at night to watch that, to watch those individual races. This was in Beijing, I think it was, 2008 Olympics, when he became the first man ever to win 8 Olympic gold medals. When they asked him what was the secret to his success, his response was swift and certain. And he said very simply, I'm the hardest worker in the room. I worked the hardest. I outworked my competition. Okay, maybe you did. But I have one question for you, Michael. How do you know? You see, Michael Phelps, his body was literally carved to the exact tailor-made specifications that make the perfect swimmer. I will give you an example. Michael Phelps is 6'3" in height. His wingspan is 6'8". That's not normal. Usually your wingspan, that's tip to tip with your arms stretched out, is around the same height as your body. If you're 6 foot, then it's around 6 foot that way. If you're 5 foot, it's around 5 foot that way. Michael Phelps' wingspan, he's like a monkey. He has arms all the way down his knees. It's like a monkey, right? How is that useful? Well, you can literally pull more water. The further you can extend your arm across the pool, the more water you can pull towards you. That's just one thing. Michael Phelps was also double jointed in his ankles and his wrists. I think his wrists, but his ankles for sure. Double jointed. What does that mean? He had extremely flexible feet. It was abnormally flexible. So his ankle could bend in weird ways. Like it could literally fold over. I'm trying to do it. It could fold flat and then up. And because of that, he has an extended range of motion. Now, this is going into sports science, which is my background. I'm a graduate in sports science. The more range of motion you have in your ankle, the more water you can push each way, the faster you will go. Think about it. If you only have that range of motion, you're only able to move water in that range. If you have that much motion, for those of you who are listening only, you need to watch the screen right now, then you're able to move water in that much range. And if you have that much range of motion, you can move infinitely more water than the guy who can only move his ankle that far. Michael Phelps was double jointed in his ankles. But it doesn't stop there. Michael Phelps had an abnormal abdomen to leg ratio. He had an extremely long torso, I should say, sorry, not abdomen. He had an extremely long torso and very short legs. If you're wondering why I'm using the Michael Phelps example, it's because I used to swim competitively when I was younger. I never reached a very high level, but I did take it very seriously. I got to regionals. So I swam to a respectable level. So I was once a swim fanatic, getting up at 4 a.m, swimming till 7. Back there at 7:30 actually. Back there again after school from 6 till 8, swimming 4 hours a day. And I did that throughout my childhood when I was really young. Shout out to my father for getting up and dropping me off. Jazakallah khair. Of many things that he's done for me. So he had an extremely long abdomen and short legs. What's the benefit of this from a sports science perspective? How does this enhance his swimming capability? It enhances his swimming capability because he has short legs, and therefore the short legs, like a rudder on a boat, can move faster. Have you ever noticed how a rudder or a propeller on a boat, it's small in comparison to the rest of the size of the boat? Why is it so small? Why is the propeller not big? Have you ever thought about that? Why is the propeller that's turning so small in comparison to the rest of the size of the boat? Why don't they make it bigger? Surely bigger is better, right? No. It turns out that if you can turn the rudder faster, this will make the boat or the ship travel faster than simply creating a bigger rudder. This is the most effective way to propel the missile forward. Michael Phelps literally had rudder legs, small little legs in comparison to his torso that moved extremely fast, with his double jointed ankles doing this through the water and his big old monkey arms pulling the water in like this. Bob Bowman, who is who was Michael Phelps's swim coach, and he coached him all the way up until 2016 Olympics, I believe, but definitely through the 08 Olympics for sure. Bob Bowman said of Michael Phelps, when Michael Phelps first joined the swim club, he said, "I would put the whole club through drills. And at the end of the session, all the kids were absolutely smashed, finished." Michael Phelps was sitting there joking and laughing and splashing around and playing games. He could go on for longer. He had an insane natural cardiovascular capacity. His cardiovascular capacity was just naturally higher than the other kids, the other kids that were there. So you can see from this example that Michael Phelps was the perfect specimen to break all of the records that he did in swimming, in international swimming. Now, if Michael Phelps heard this, he would be extremely offended, because the likes of Phelps and those super successful individuals want to be acknowledged for their hard work, as they should be. As they should be. And maybe they are the hardest workers in the room. But again, how do you know? It's not measurable. Well, just because you won the most, that's not measurable. You can't measure that. We cannot deny natural talent. And I'm going to weave all of this back in to the dark pill in a moment. Okay? And I'm going to give you hope as well. A solution, hope.
So if you like that clip and you want to watch another one, click right here. And if you want to watch the entire podcast, click right here.